The champagne flute shattered against the marble floor of our Manhattan penthouse, its fragments scattering like the pieces of my crumbling resolve. I stared at Aspen, my stepdaughter, her lips still parted from the kiss she'd just stolen in the dim glow of the New Year's Eve party lights, her eyes defiant yet pleading. "Ashlyn," she whispered, using my first name for the first time in years. "Tell me you didn't feel that." My heart pounded as I backed away, the room spinning not from the alcohol but from the forbidden spark that had ignited between us. How had we gotten here? I'd married her father, Richard, 5 years ago, stepping into a ready-made family with Aspen already a rebellious teenager. She was supposed to be like a daughter to me, but over time, our arguments had morphed into something deeper, more intense. Conversations that lingered too long, glances that held unspoken truths. Now at 22, Aspen was a force of nature, studying art at NYU. Her creativity a whirlwind that both inspired and terrified me. I wiped my mouth with the back of my hand, tasting the faint sweetness of her lip gloss. "This can't happen," I muttered, my voice barely audible over the distant fireworks exploding over the Hudson. But inside a storm raged. Guilt for betraying Richard, who was downstairs schmoozing with clients, confusion over my own desires I'd buried since college, and a twisted relief that someone finally saw me beyond the trophy wife facade. Aspen stepped closer, her blonde hair tousled from the night's revelry, her blue eyes locking onto mine. "Why not? Dad's never home, and you deserve more than his indifference." Her words cut deep, echoing my silent complaints. Richard's law firm consumed him, leaving me to navigate this glittering but empty life alone. I'd convinced myself it was enough, the charity galas, the designer wardrobe, but Aspen's presence had always challenged that illusion. She challenged everything. My straight-laced upbringing in suburban Connecticut, my decision to marry for security rather than love, my suppressed attraction to women that I'd dismissed as a phase. "Aspen, please," I pleaded, my mind racing through the consequences. If anyone found out, the scandal would destroy us. Richard's conservative family would disown her. My own parents, devout Catholics, would never speak to me again. Society's judgment loomed like a shadow, whispering that this was wrong, unnatural. Yet, as she reached for my hand, I didn't pull away immediately. What was I doing? This was madness, a betrayal of the vows I'd taken, the role I'd accepted. She squeezed my fingers gently. "I've watched you fade away in this marriage. You're vibrant, Ashlyn, talented, with your photography dreams pushed aside. I see you." Her voice cracked, revealing vulnerability beneath her bravado. In that moment, I saw her not as my stepdaughter, but as a woman who understood my isolation. But the internal conflict tore at me. Was this love, or just rebellion against a stifling life? Downstairs, the party continued oblivious, laughter floating up like mocking echoes. I thought of Richard discovering us, his face contorting in rage, the divorce papers, the custody battles over nothing since Aspen was an adult. No, she wasn't a child anymore, but the label stepdaughter carried weight, a moral barrier I couldn't ignore. Yet my body betrayed me, a warmth spreading from where our hands touched. "Aspen, we have to stop," I said, forcing conviction into my tone. But she shook her head, her expression fierce. "No more hiding. I've loved you since the day you moved in, fighting it every step. Tonight I choose honesty." Her declaration hung in the air, a challenge I wasn't ready to face. As the clock struck 1, I fled to my bedroom, locking the door, my mind a whirlwind of denial and desire. What had I allowed to happen? The kiss replayed in my thoughts, a spark that could burn everything down. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating the mess we'd left. Richard was already at the office, his note on the counter brief as always. Aspen sat at the kitchen island, nursing a coffee, her eyes red-rimmed. "We need to talk," she said softly. I nodded, pouring myself a cup with trembling hands. Inside I battled. Admit the mutual attraction and risk everything, or deny it and preserve the fragile status quo. As we sat across from each other, the air thick with unspoken words, Aspen began. "I didn't plan that kiss, but being around you, it's like finally breathing." Her honesty disarmed me. I'd felt the same pull, those late-night talks about art and life evolving into something intimate. But morality screamed at me. This was taboo, a violation of family bonds. Society wouldn't understand. we'd be labeled deviants, outcasts. I thought of my college girlfriend, Sarah, how I'd ended it under parental pressure, choosing the right path. Now history repeated, but with higher stakes. Aspen, this could ruin your life, I warned. She leaned forward. Or save it. I'm tired of pretending to date guys to fit in. Her confession hit hard. She'd been hiding too, just like me. The conversation stretched, tensions rising as we dissected our feelings. What about your father? I asked, voice breaking. Aspen's face hardened. He doesn't love you the way you deserve. He's married to his job. Truth stung, but it fueled my inner turmoil. Loyalty to Richard versus this newfound passion. By afternoon, we'd agreed to keep distance, but the seed was planted. That evening, Richard returned late, oblivious. As I lay beside him, Aspen's kiss haunted me. Was I willing to pay the price for authenticity? The question gnawed, setting the stage for inevitable confrontation. Days blurred into a tense standoff in our penthouse, where every glance between Aspen and me carried electric undercurrents. I threw myself into my photography, capturing the stark contrasts of New York streets, vibrant life against cold steel skyscrapers, mirroring my internal chaos. But avoidance only amplified the pull. Aspen's presence was a constant reminder of the line we'd crossed. One evening, as rain pelted the windows, Aspen cornered me in the home office. "We can't ignore this forever," she said, her voice low. I closed my laptop, heart racing. "What do you want from me?" My tone was sharper than intended, born of fear. She paced, her movements agitated. "Clarity. Do you feel it too? Or was that kiss just pity?" Her vulnerability pierced me. Inside, I admitted the truth. Yes, I felt it. A deep, resonant connection that transcended familial ties. But the ethical dilemma loomed. Pursuing this meant betraying Richard, dismantling the family structure, facing societal scorn. Lesbian relationships were accepted in progressive circles, but ours carried the weight of taboo, stepmother and stepdaughter. The media would feast on it, labeling us perverse. "I do feel it," I confessed, the words escaping like a dam breaking. Aspen's eyes lit up, but I held up a hand. "But it's wrong. We're family." She shook her head. "Not by blood. And family should mean support, not suppression." Her logic challenged my ingrained beliefs, sparking a heated debate. We argued late into the night, voices rising. "Society will judge us," I insisted. "Let them," she retorted. "I'm done living for others' approval." Her defiance inspired envy. At 22, she embraced her identity boldly, while I, at 38, still hid behind conventions. My mind flashed to my parents' disappointment if they knew, their religious fervor condemning such sins. The confrontation escalated when Richard walked in unexpectedly. "What's going on?" he demanded, sensing the tension. Aspen froze, but I smoothed it over with a lie about a minor disagreement. As he retreated to bed, guilt gnawed deeper. Deceiving him felt like another betrayal, compounding the moral quagmire. The next day, Aspen suggested we meet outside the home, at a quiet cafe in Greenwich Village. Amid the bohemian crowd, she opened up about her struggles. Coming out to friends, the isolation of hiding from family. "I thought you'd understand," she said. I did. My own suppressed bisexuality had cost me friendships, self-respect. But admitting it meant choosing her over stability. Our hands brushed under the table, a spark igniting forbidden longing. "What if we try?" she whispered. Panic surged. The price would be immense: divorce, alienation, perhaps losing Aspen if it failed. Yet, the alternative was a life of quiet desperation. Back home, Richard noticed my distraction. "Everything okay?" he asked over dinner. I nodded, but inside resentment brewed. His emotional absence had created this void. Was it fair to blame him? Aspen's words echoed. I deserved more. That night, as he slept, I texted her. "We need to be careful." Our secret meetings began, stolen moments in parks or galleries, where we explored our feelings through words, not touches. Each conversation deepened the bond, but also the conflict. I wrestled with loyalty. Richard had provided security, but no passion. Aspen offered authenticity, but at what cost? One afternoon, a friend from my photography group, Lisa, sensed something amiss. "You seem different, glowing but troubled." I confided partially, omitting details. Her advice: follow your heart, but consider the fallout. It amplified my indecision. Tensions peaked when Aspen confronted Richard about his neglect. You treat Ashlyn like an accessory, she accused during a family dinner. He dismissed her, but the seed of doubt was sown. Later, alone with me, he asked, is there someone else? My denial felt hollow. In my mind, the battle raged. Right versus wrong, love versus duty. Aspen's persistence forced a choice. I can't keep this half-life, she said in a tearful call. Her pain mirrored mine, pushing me toward a precipice. As weeks passed, the secrecy weighed heavier. A close call. Richard almost seeing a text, heightened paranoia. I realized. Continuing meant inevitable exposure, with devastating consequences. But ending it felt like self-betrayal. One night, unable to sleep, I wandered to the living room. Aspen was there, sketching. I love you, she said simply. The words shattered my defenses. In that moment I chose. A kiss, deliberate this time, sealing our path forward whatever the cost. But dawn brought regret. What had I done? The moral ambiguity tormented me. Was this liberation or destruction? The affair unfolded in shadows, our meetings clandestine, fueled by whispered confessions and stolen glances. I filed for divorce from Richard, citing irreconcilable differences, but the truth simmered beneath. My heart belonged to Aspen. He was stunned, suspecting an affair but never imagining with whom. Who is he? He demanded in our lawyer's office, his face etched with betrayal. No one you know. I lied, the words tasting like ash. Inside, guilt twisted like a knife. I'd upended his life for my own desires. Aspen supported me through calls, her voice a lifeline. We're building something real, she assured. But societal pressures mounted. Whispers at social events, friends distancing themselves as rumors spread. Coming out to my parents was a battlefield. Over a tense dinner in Connecticut, I revealed my bisexuality and the divorce. This is a phase, my mother insisted, tears streaming. My father quoted scripture condemning me. You're throwing away your life. Their rejection stung, reinforcing the isolation of defying norms. Was love worth this exile? Aspen faced her own storms. Richard, in rage, cut her off financially, forcing her to drop a semester. You're dead to me, he spat during a confrontation. Her pain was palpable. I chose you over him. The weight of her sacrifice amplified my doubts. Had I led her into ruin? We moved into a small Brooklyn apartment, a far cry from the penthouse, symbolizing our downgrade for authenticity. But freedom came with chains. Judgmental stares in public, online trolls labeling our relationship incestuous after a leaked story. The media frenzy began when a former friend tipped off a tabloid. Headlines screamed, "Stepdaughter steals stepmom's heart. Family torn apart." The backlash was relentless. Aspen's art career stalled. Galleries shunned her. My photography exhibits were cancelled amid protests. Society's double standard hit hard. Straight affairs were forgiven, but ours was vilified. Internal conflict raged. Was our love genuine, or a product of proximity and rebellion? A pivotal confrontation came at a family gathering Richard forced. He cornered us. "This is sick," he thundered. Aspen stood firm. "Love isn't sick, your neglect was." Her words exposed his flaws, but also our moral gray areas. Had we justified betrayal too easily? Therapy sessions became our refuge, where we unpacked traumas. "You're both victims of circumstance," the counselor said. But I questioned. Victims or perpetrators? Aspen's youth made me wonder if I'd exploited her vulnerability. One night amid tears, Aspen admitted doubts. What if society's right? What if we're wrong? Her vulnerability mirrored mine. We debated ethics, consent, power dynamics, societal norms. We chose each other, I countered, but uncertainty lingered. Betrayal deepened when my best friend, Elena, severed ties. "I can't support this," she said. The loss compounded isolation. Aspen's friends rallied, but family rifts widened. Richard sued for assets, dragging us through court, exposing intimate details. In the courtroom under scrutiny, I defended our love. "It's real," I stated. But the judge's disdainful glance echoed public sentiment. We won minimal settlement, but the emotional toll was immense. Post-trial, Aspen spiraled into depression, questioning her choices. I lost my dad for this. Her anguish forced me to confront the damage. Broken homes, shattered trust. Was happiness built on others' pain justifiable? A turning point came during a protest outside our apartment. Anti-LGBT groups chanting slurs. Defending Aspen, I realized our bond's strength. We fight together, I vowed. But the cost. Her withdrawn art, my stalled career, endless therapy. As months passed, resilience grew. Aspen resumed studies, channeling pain into powerful pieces critiquing societal hypocrisy. My photos captured queer struggles, gaining niche acclaim. But scars remained. Holidays alone missed family milestones. One evening, Richard called, voice softened. I miss her. Reconciliation hinted, but at what price? Deny our love? The dilemma tore anew. In quiet moments I pondered, right or wrong, our choices defined us. Aspen's embrace grounded me, but the ethical debate persisted. Had we awakened to truth, or invited destruction? Healing fractures emerged slowly, like cracks in ice thawing under tentative sun. Aspen and I attended pride events, finding community amid the rainbow flags. But the undercurrent of judgment lingered. Even within LGBT circles, our story raised eyebrows. It's complicated, friends would say, their sympathy laced with unease. The moral quandary haunted. Did our happiness validate the pain inflicted? Richard's olive branch came via a mediated meeting. In a neutral cafe, he faced us, eyes weary. I want to understand, he said. Aspen tensed, her hand in mine under the table. You never tried before, she replied, voice steady but edged with hurt. The dialogue unraveled old wounds. His absenteeism, my emotional starvation, her search for belonging. He admitted faults. I failed you both. Tears flowed, a cathartic release. But forgiveness wasn't immediate. Betrayal's sting endured. Can we rebuild? He asked. Aspen's conflict mirrored mine. Yearn for family yet protect our love. We left undecided, the encounter stirring inner turmoil. Reconcile and conform or stand defiant. Societal pressures intensified with a viral podcast dissecting our scandal. Listeners debated. Immoral or inspirational? Comments flooded, some supportive, others vicious. They're brave, one said. Disgusting, another. The polarization amplified self-doubt. Were we role models or cautionary tales? Aspen's art show became a battleground. Her pieces, raw depictions of forbidden love, drew crowds and protesters. Perverts out, they chanted. Defending her work, I confronted a heckler. Love isn't yours to judge. But inside I questioned, had we invited this by going public? A betrayal struck when Aspen's ex-friend leaked private photos. Not explicit but intimate. The invasion shattered trust. Why us? Aspen sobbed. Rage boiled. Society's voyeurism craving our downfall. We sued, but damage was done, jobs lost, anonymity stripped. Therapy delved deeper. Power imbalance, the counselor noted, given my age and former authority. Aspen defended. It's equal now. But seeds of doubt sprouted. Had I influenced her unduly? Moral introspection consumed me. Right choices shouldn't destroy so much. Family dynamics shifted when my sister reached out. I support you, she said, defying parents. The gesture warmed but highlighted divisions. Aspen's cousin invited us to a wedding, a test. Attend and face stares or decline and isolate further. We went heads high. Whispers followed, but a kind uncle toasted. To love in all forms. Acceptance flickered, but Richard's absence loomed. Later he emailed. I'm trying. Progress yet tentative. High drama erupted at a gallery event. A conservative critic lambasted Aspen's work as degenerate. She countered publicly. Art reflects truth. Yours is denial. Applause erupted. A victory amid adversity. But exhaustion set in. Constant defense wore us down. In private, tensions flared. Is this worth it? Aspen asked during an argument. My heart clenched. Yes, you are. Reconciliation followed, but the question lingered. The price of authenticity. As seasons changed, growth emerged. Aspen's career rebounded with a grant for queer artists. My book deal on personal journeys materialized. Success tasted bittersweet, built on struggle. A pivotal choice arose. Richard proposed co-parenting therapy. For Aspen's sake. She wavered. Reclaim father but risk our bond? I need both, she confessed. The dilemma. Inclusive family or exclusive love? We attended, emotions raw. Richard apologized sincerely. I see your happiness now. Tears bridged gaps but full healing eluded. Moral ambiguity persisted. Forgive betrayal or hold grudges? One night, stargazing on our rooftop, Aspen proposed. Marry me. Joy surged but reality intruded. Legal hurdles, public backlash. Yes, I whispered, embracing the unknown. Preparations brought confrontations. Parents boycotted. Friends rallied. The wedding, intimate, symbolized triumph over odds. Vows exchanged, we pledged resilience. But post-honeymoon cracks reappeared. Richard's new girlfriend stirred jealousy in Aspen. He's moving on. Her insecurity revealed lingering wounds. Therapy continued, unpacking layers. Society's evolution offered hope. More allies, less hate. Yet, personal costs endured. Missed connections altered paths. Reflecting, I wondered. Had our choices been right? The journey taught. Love demands sacrifice but yields growth. Years wove a tapestry of hard-won peace. Our Brooklyn life a sanctuary amid lingering storms. Aspen and I navigated marriage's realities. Mundane routines interspersed with echoes of past dramas. But the moral reckonings never fully ceased. Each milestone prompted reflection on choices made, prices paid. Richard's integration was gradual. Awkward holiday dinners evolving into genuine rapport. I'm proud of you, he told Aspen at her gallery opening. Her tears spoke volumes. Forgiveness's bittersweet taste. Yet, I sensed her internal struggle. Balancing paternal love with our union's sanctity. Does it make me weak? She confided one night. No, I assured, human. Societal shifts brought validation. Supreme Court rulings, cultural representations normalizing diverse loves. But our story remained contentious. Fodder for debates on ethics in relationships. A documentary approached us. We declined, valuing privacy over publicity. We've paid enough, Aspen said. Betrayal resurfaced when a distant relative outed us to extended family. Reigniting ostracism. Why can't they accept? I raged inwardly. The pain sharpened focus on resilience. We volunteered at LGBT centers, channeling hurt into help. Aspen's workshops empowered youth. My photos documented stories, fostering empathy. A crisis tested bonds. Aspen's health scare, a benign tumor, unleashed fears. In hospital waits, I confronted mortality. Had our path shortened joys? Richard visited, offering support. Family sticks together. His words blurred lines. Redefined family beyond blood or law. Recovery brought clarity. I wouldn't change us, Aspen whispered. Her affirmation quelled doubts, but ethical debates persisted in quiet moments. Power dynamics, societal impact, were we exemplars or enablers of taboo? High tension arose at a panel discussion Aspen joined on queer ethics. A critic accused, "Your relationship romanticizes dysfunction." She rebutted fiercely. "It humanizes struggle." Applause followed but backlash online ensued. Trolls threatened. We fortified security, a stark reminder of costs. Personal growth flourished. Aspen published a memoir, raw and unapologetic. Reviews polarized, inspirational versus irresponsible. The discourse mirrored our life, contentious, thought-provoking. My parents' tentative outreach came via letter. "We miss you." Reconciliation loomed but on our terms. "No judgment," I replied. The meeting was emotional. Apologies, hugs. Acceptance partial but a start. "Love wins," my mother said hesitantly. Yet full harmony eluded. Richard's wedding invited us. We attended, navigating complexities. Aspen's toast. "To new beginnings." Poignant, underscoring evolutions. In therapy we explored lingering traumas. "You've both sacrificed much," the counselor noted. Indeed. Careers derailed, relationships severed. But gains, authenticity, depth. Was the trade fair? An awakening moment. Mentoring a young lesbian facing family rejection. "Your story gives hope," she said. Impact outweighed pain, tilting moral scales. As we aged, perspectives shifted. Aspen, now 30, reflected. "We challenged norms, paid dearly." I, at 46, agreed. and grew stronger. Our life stabilized, adopted pets, community ties. But questions remained. Did society evolve because of stories like ours or despite? One evening, watching sunset, Aspen asked, "Was it all worth it?" My heart answered yes, but mind pondered alternatives. The journey's end brought no neat resolution, only lived truths. Love's complexity, society's rigidity, personal agency, intertwined in our narrative. In hindsight, choices were fraught, outcomes mixed. We awakened to selves, but at others' expense. Was it right to pursue a love that society deems taboo, knowing the collateral damage to family and self?